MI6 agent Noel is leading an assignment to capture Viktor Gradov, a Russian arms dealer. Everything is going smoothly when they notice the man they are targeting. They follow him, but another man appears there dressed as Sam. But multiple men like that come there. A van comes there at that point, but they realize that they have been set up and the opponent comes one by one and kills the agents. Another set of guys gets inside the security van and steals a link to Echelon, a global satellite network. Noel fights for her life, but in the end, she gets shot and the agents steal Echelon. While lying on the floor, she sees Gradov in person. Sam Clerk is the Prime Minister of Britain who has been asked to meet the newly elected American president, Will Derringer. But he does not like the guy, as he is a wannabe action movie star. While on a walk, he learns about the incident that happened in Spain and Noel's demise. Will is also not a fan of Sam, as he mocked him on a public stage once. His best friend and secretary, Bradshaw, tells him that he needs to collaborate with Sam after the Spain tragedy. Sam's secretary, Quincy, tells him that they have scoured through everything but were not able to track down Gradov. But after the Echelon being stolen, the country's peace treaty with NATO will be dissolved as every other world leader will pull out. Finally, both of them meet, but they're extremely cold towards each other. But they mutually decide to cooperate during the press conference. The conference starts, but Sam is immediately agitated as the reporters keep asking Will about his movies. He tries to bring back the conversation to the tragedy, but the moment that happens, they get into a catty jab at each other. The conference becomes a disaster, and they get into a terrible argument. But both their secretary suggests that they need to work together or things will fall apart. Quincy suggests that they should fly together towards NATO. Bradshaw says that it will be a great idea. Both of them hesitantly agree to do so. Gradov is pissed against one of his agents as he missed a target and more of his agents were killed. He settles down for a bit, but suddenly attacks him with a kettle and burns him as everyone stands horrified. Both the leaders get up on the flight, but their bickering does not even stop there. Sam says that he does not like Will because he is too casual, but Will claps back and says that he is just creating a facade of the serious president, and there's nothing serious in it. A suspicious man dressed as a chef goes to the control room, but he starts unaliving everyone there as he is one of the Russian assassins. He then takes control of the system and shares details with the other agents who are following them on a flight. While arguing, Will suddenly notices the plane and becomes suspicious. They get out and find everyone in a rush. The other plane suddenly attacked them. Sam also notices the assassin, but his men fail to tackle him, and he finishes them one by one. But both of them somehow manage to save themselves. The pilots try their level best to protect the flight, but the plane is destroyed completely and is on the verge of collapsing. The assassin takes a parachute and burns all the others. He gets out while the plane is crashing, but they manage to save 2 more parachutes. The flight marshal asks them to jump off and gives them an address where they can reach a safe house. They then jump from the plane and crash down. The news gets exposed as the whole world stands shocked. Immediately, Vice President Elizabeth Kirk is asked to represent Will. Will gets stuck to a tree. Sam comes there and says that they need to cross the border to reach the safe house. Will asks to wait for help, but Sam says that the plane has crashed and people think of them as dead. He also asks to immediately get rid of the phone, as the enemies might still be tracking him. They walk through the woods and find the crashed plane. Will tells Sam that there is a mole in the agency who is working with Russians. Kirk tries to get the Echelon started, but just then the Russians hack into the system and take control of the satellite. Will and Sam reach a place and find some thugs chatting. They decide to steal a car, but just then get confronted by them. They try to make a conversation, but the thugs attack them. A fight erupts between them. Sam and Will manage to corner the guys, but they get hold of some weapons and get ready to attack. But just then, an old woman comes with a gun and saves them. Both of them tell her that they need to cross the border, and the woman says that she will help them. She takes them on a sheep truck. For the first time, Will and Sam share a moment as they come out about their real motivations to join the leadership. And even though they are very different, they simply want to help the nation. They reach the border, but an officer becomes suspicious and starts to check the truck. The woman makes a deal and gives him a sheep in return for which he lets them cross the border. She drops them off and reveals that she knows them. They reach the safe house and a man lets them in, but the system is hacked, so the Russians get their footage. Hammond shows it to Gradov, but says that they have delivered their message and don't need to harm them. But Gradov says that it's personal and informs the assassins and asks them to finish off the mission. Marty Comer, a young CIA agent, opens the door. He is ecstatic to see them alive, as he is a big fan of Will. He says that NATO is falling off and the other world leaders are pulling out of it. Will asks him to call the parliament, but Sam asks him not to, But just then, the red alert goes off as the assassins have raided the place. Marty takes them to a weapon room, and they get ready to fight off. Marty is a tech genius who uses it to defeat the enemy and corners them. But soon the woman spots a camera and destroys it. They soon get into a combat and overpower Marty. He asks them to run away as he will hold on to the assassins. They get into an elevator and manage to operate it, but the assassins get hold of Marty and end him. They think that they are finally safe and can get out. But just then, multiple armed men capture them. But just then, a car rushes towards them and the driver jumps out. It smashes the assassins, and the leader is safe. They approach the driver, and it turns out to be Noel. Sam reveals that he knows Noel personally and asks how she is alive. She says that she saw Gradov and he was alive, so she decided to track their trails and find them. She says that she will take them to safety. On their way, we'll ask about why Gradov is behind their life. Noel reveals that Gradov had a son who was doing scientific research, but America thought that he was producing a nuclear weapon, and they bombed the place, which caused his death. From that time, he has taken the pledge to take his revenge. Will then says that someone from inside is doing the job, and it's Quincy, as he is the one who forces them to get on the plane and travel together. Will says that they should call the government and let them know, but Sam says that the system is rigged and they can't trust anyone. Noel promises to take them to their destination safely, and they get on a train. Just then, the Echelon service shows them the footage, but Hammond decides not to tell Gradov about it. They get up in the morning on the train, and Sam tries to talk to Noel, but she says that he left her when she needed him the most, and there's nothing to talk about. Will pushes him to say exactly what's going on. He says that they were in love, but when Sam decided to run for leadership, she broke it off with him as she did not want to become a trophy wife. Suddenly, Hammond comes there with an agent, but shockingly, he shoots the man, and the man retaliates in the same manner. Noel comes there and disarms him. He says that Gradov made him do things that he never wanted to do, and he has lost his mind and after everyone's blood. He says that he does not know who the mole is, but there is another safe house of the Russians. He shares a code and says that if they run it, they will be able to know who it is. He also tells them that assassins are waiting for them at the next station. Will says that they need to jump off the train, and although everyone is hesitant at first, they do it anyway and manage to land safely. Kirk, on the other hand, calls the otherworld leaders and tries to convince them to stay with NATO. But no one agrees and pulls out one after another. The guys break into a car and reach the outhouse at night. They find a box and figures that they need to get into it. They break into the system, but the assassins get there. Sam says that he will try to hold them back, and both of them try to get the traitor's identity. Sam starts to fight them one by one, uses a grenade to get rid of them, but the assassins are asked to abort the mission. Noel hacks into the system, but to their shock, they find out that the traitor is actually Bradshaw. Suddenly, some carbines hold the locker and drag it. They get locked inside it, and Sam tries to save them, but he fails, and they drag it out of the building. They somehow manage to save themselves, but Gradov uses a rocket launcher and blows off the building with Sam in it. Noel is shattered, but asks to jump onto the next building to save themselves. Gradov is on the chopper when the agents get a call to get rid of him. He figures it out and attacks them and manages to save himself. Noel gets on a boat and drives Will to safety. They reach the dock in the morning. He calls Kirk and says that they are alive. She is relieved and says that she will send help immediately. Help comes, but things take a turn when they find that they have been duped. Turns out that Kirk was the mastermind behind all of it, and Bradshaw was simply just a decoy to destroy them. But they're still not done yet, and they start a fight. But if this is not enough, the Russian agents start to follow them and finish them. They get involved in a cat and mouse chase and are about to be busted, but an ambulance crashes into the enemy's car. It's Sam, and he is alive, which shocks Noel and Will. Sam gets into their car, and together they manage to take over the enemy. The male assassin tries to use a rocket launcher, but they still manage to get to safety. In the parliament, all the foreign ministers start to pull themselves out of NATO one by one, which makes Kirk happy. But just then, Sam and Will get there. They say that it's not the end, and they need to work together so they can bring the world back together. Will then confront Kirk and says that she has been caught. She says that what she did was for the best of the country, as they need to help their own people and not try to help others. But just then, the Russians shoot her. Mayhem breaks loose as they launch an attack to eliminate Sam and Will. Noel gets in there and starts to tackle them one by one. Gradov is trying to flee, but Sam and Will decide to stop him. They start to follow him as Noel fights with the male assassin to free their way. They get into a gunfight and manage to shoot Gradov in the arm. Noel, on the other hand, manages to fight and finishes the assassin off. Will and Sam are about to catch Gradov, but they run out of bullets. Gradov takes them at gunpoint and tries to flee. They decide that they can't let let it happen, as he will cause another destruction. Will jumps to get hold of a statue as Sam gets shot by an arrow. He throws the statue on the blades of the chopper, which causes it to malfunction, and it causes an explosion, which causes Gradov's demise. Sam is safe, and Noel finally agrees to spend her life with him. After some time, both of them meet as they have formed a new friendship and are on their way to bring the world together. Somewhere in the Bahamas, Marty is chilling. He says that he was shot, but had a metal incision in his head, so he did not die. The girls don't believe him and leave. But Noel comes there and says that she believes his story. So, that was the recap for the 2025 movie Head of States. For more recaps like this, stay subscribed to the channel. And if you have liked this video, you may also like this.